Good evening. Kenya's Harambee Stars have now one foot in the quarterfinals. The last time Morocco's team, that is Atlas, lost in a game was 9 years back in 2016 in Ivory Coast to Ivory Coast. But then, being the 10th of August 2025, Kenya has made history yet again. And they have lost on ground, and this means that we are more enthusiastic that once we meet the Chipolopolo of Zambia, then we might actually do another miracle because we already have one in the bag. Good evening, this is Sunday Express. We have that and so much more, but before we get to speak what has been making headlines, let's have a sneak peek on what to expect on Sunday Express.
Stanley Mondi with a chance to shoot, takes a deflection, it's come the way of Ogam. Ogam turns left, fires home, Kenya lead, building up to half-time, and Ryan Ogam.
Harambee Stars inches to the CHAN quarterfinals after a 1-0 win over Morocco. Mother and child perish on the third consecutive day of road fatalities in the country. And President William Ruto pledges to fulfill all his pre-election pledges before the 2027 polls. Good evening. This is Sunday Express. I'm Regina Manyara, and my colleague on sign language is none other than Byron Abuli. Now, Kenya's Harambee Stars have one foot in the quarterfinals of the 2024 African Nations Championship after beating two-time champions Morocco 1-0 in their third Group A game earlier this evening at the Kasarani Stadium. The lone goal was scored by Ryan Ogam in the 42nd minute of the game that saw Chris Erambo red-carded in the first half.
Kenya's Harambee Stars welcomed Morocco in their third African Nation Championship Group A match at the Kasarani Stadium, needing a win to stretch their lead at the top of Group A, while two-time champions Morocco were eyeing all 3 points to move to the top.
He's up against Tariq Sektoui, who he knows rather well.
And they began the game attacking on all fronts as Stars laid back protecting their danger zone.
The area is worked away by the captain Kibwage. Chip ball in, the header is there, and the post comes to the rescue for Kenya, and then the captain Kibwage works it away. It's still alive. Belamri feeds it in. Omondi gets a touch on it. Aitor Khan has gone down, and then a powerful shot that just sails over the crossbar, but the offside flag has gone up.
Morocco's hunger for a goal left their territory unprotected, and that turned disastrous in the 42nd minute as Ryan Ogam's perfectly executed finish sent Kasarani Stadium into roars.
Feeding the pass out to Mushiri. Stanley Omondi with a chance to shoot, takes a deflection, it's come the way of Ogam. Ogam turns left, fires home, Kenya lead, building up to half-time, and Ryan Ogam lives up to his Kenya in front in Kasarani. That was a sensational finish from Ogam. He was marked out as the player to watch at this tournament. He has delivered now, much to the delight of the partisan home fans.
Late into first half stoppage time, disaster struck again, this time in Kenya's camp as Chris Erambo was shown a red card for a dangerous tackle, the second red card for Stars in 2 matches.
Benny McCarthy protests, he protests loudly. Raouli goes around the outside of Mansour. It's there to be hit, and it's just hit over.
The second half was a cat-and-mouse game, Kenya chasing the tactical Morocco, but even with their record, losing 2 matches only in 20 games, going unbeaten in 14 matches, and going 9 years without losing, Morocco could still not find a way through as the referee's final whistle sounded after 7 minutes of added time.
They are putting their bodies on the line. Sakwa, the latest of them. It's been commitment, dedication, sacrifice, and genuine belief in their ability. Kenya were told they couldn't do it, but they are getting the job done. The belief is sky high. Every eye in this venue is watching the referee. Whistle in the mouth, and as Omondi kicks it forward, Vincent Kabore signals the end of a tie. It's a brave, bold, beautiful day for Kenya. The Harambee Stars, on their tournament debut, have beaten the most successful team in the tournament, the 2-time champions Morocco.
Harambee Stars are now sitting at the top of Group A with 7 points and play their last pool match on 17th August at the Kasarani Stadium against Zambia, who lost 2-1 to Angola, despite taking the lead at the Nyayo National Stadium.
Picks it up for the Angolan side again. Out on the left with some speed as well. Trying to make sure that brings in a cutback. Good control. It's a lovely chance, and Angola back in the game. Crosses. Gogoro was left out of the starting lineup for today. Brings in another long close.
Buckley Feather, Sunday Express.
More reasons to trust the host broadcaster, and that is KBC, your true sports partner. We are continuing to televise these particular matches live. And just as the commentator said, is that Kenya were told could not do it, but yes, we have done it. Well, in boys, let's see what happens when we square it out next with Zambia, who drew one goal to 1 this evening with Angola there. Chipolopolo, be ready. Our boys are ready. Harambee Stars, well in. We'll keep tabs on that. Now, tragedy struck today on the Mai-Mahiu-Narok highway when a woman and her child died after the bus they were traveling got involved in an accident with 3 other vehicles. Several others were seriously injured and rushed to hospitals across Naivasha.
The horrific crash involving an Ena coach bus, 2 small private vehicles and a truck occurred earlier today near the Mai-Mahiu escarpment. Naivasha Police Commander Anthony Ketar said preliminary investigations suggest the bus was attempting to overtake when it collided head-on with an oncoming truck.
Ena coach was trying to overtake. Unfortunately, there's a head-on collision with a truck. And the 2 vehicles, the small vehicles that were behind, where they rammed into the bus.
The collision killed a mother and her child on the spot. Several other passengers sustained serious injuries and were rushed to various hospitals in Naivasha and Mai-Mahiu. Qatar further cautioned road users to be more vigilant and avoid recklessness given the current weather conditions that impair visibility.
Before they overtake, they should ensure that the road ahead is very clear. There's no oncoming vehicle, and especially during this period of this bad weather.
In a statement earlier, Ena Coach Chief Executive Officer Richard Mogere confirmed that the bus bearing registration number KDE 729Q departed Nairobi for Kehancha in Migori County at around 8 p.m. on Saturday, carrying 47 passengers and 3 crew members. The impact of the collision, he said, forced the bus off the road, forcing it to overturn. Maria reporting for Sunday Express.
May their souls rest in peace. Now, just a quick correction. I think we're still reeling from that particular win against Morocco there. And Angola scored actually 2 goals to a single goal from Zambia there. I think it's just that I want Kenya to win so bad. So Angola 2, Zambia 1. Kenya 1, Morocco 0. It feels good to say that. All right. Now, President William Ruto has assured the country that all the promises made by the Kenya Kwanza administration will be delivered before the next general poll in 2027. The president also called for unity in the country. He spoke in Limuru, Kiambu County, during a Sunday service at PCA Joshua Matengwa Memorial Church.
Kiambu County on Sunday hosted President William Ruto for a church service at PCA Joshua Matengwa Memorial, returning Mount Kenya region after 4 months. Ruto used the platform to assure the country of his government's commitment to gradually fulfill pre-election promises on roads, electricity, water and affordable housing, among others.
Kama kiongozi wa taifa hii, nitaunganisha wananchi wote kutoka sehemu zote, kutoka jamii zote, kutoka kaunti zote, kwa sababu hapo ndipo tutabarikiwa na Mwenyezi Mungu kama taifa. So naomba munisaidie tuombee taifa letu la Kenya so that we can move together.
I know one thing the Lord hates most is people who sow discord amongst brothers. Tukishikilia hapo na tuweke nchi yetu kwenye mbele yake Mwenyezi Mungu, Kenya inasonga ajabu.
Niko hapa kutoa ushuhuda kwa yale tumetimiza kupitia uongozi wa rais wetu katika idara ya utalii.
Hinting at a grand tour of the Mount Kenya region, the president said he would meet Kiambu leaders to review the economic charter signed in the period leading to the 2022 elections.
Mimi nakuja hapa kuanzisha hii barabara ya kutoka hapa kwenda na Naivasha, kwenda Nakuru mpaka Mau Summit, baadaye nataka kuipeleka mpaka kule Malaba.
When many of us as leaders from this county, we say we will shut our ears to the noise, we will close our eyes to the distractions and remain focused on what we promise the people of Kiambu, Your Excellency. We are very resolute on that.
On matters health, Ruto said no patient should be charged for health services offered at level 1, 2 and 3 hospitals.
Serikali ya Kenya, we have provided the money. Hospitali tatibu mwananchi, watatutumia bill na tunawalipa kila 14th of every month. Tunalipa pesa kwa mahospitali zetu.
Later, the president inspected the ongoing affordable housing project in Limuru.
Mimi nawaambia wale majamaa, si ndio? Wasitutishe na mambo ya one term. Wasitutishe na blackmail ya one term. Sisi ni watu tuko na akili bwana. Watuambie sera yao. Watuambie mpango yao. Na kama hawana mpango, watafute nchi na wananchi wa kwenda kuwadanganya.
Giverson Minor, Sunday Express.
Now, Public Health and Professional Standards Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni has reiterated the government's stand against any health facility at the lower levels, that is level 2, 3 and 4, charging patients for outpatient services, saying such services are paid for through the Social Health Insurance Fund. Speaking after a church service at ACK St. James Kiaradha Church in Kirinyaga County, Muthoni said stern action will be meted on the culpable facilities.
As the law states that level 2, level 3 and level 4 outpatients must not charge. And that is the law. It is not a matter of guesswork. That is what the law states. So anybody going to our facilities, and that is what never used to be there in NHIF, anybody going to facilities should only have registered, and especially for outpatient. And if you're referred to another facility, then you're required to pay for SHA. For referral system, or if you're admitted. People suffering out of drugs and substance use. Remember, these are products that are very detrimental to our health. We have seen many people get cancer of the throat, out of the novel products and out of cigarette smoking or nicotine, use of nicotine especially. So we want a reduction in the same.
And on that note, we take our fast breather on Sunday Express. We'll be right back.
Little moment. It starts with little moments of courage. To stepping out into the new world with confidence. Taking leaps of faith. Spreading your wings and soaring to new heights. Your mother's love is with you wherever you go. Stay soft. Nothing lasts like mom's love.
Hesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu letu.
Welcome back. CHAN Iko KBC indeed, and you're still reeling from that win this afternoon. Kenya taking on Morocco and scoring one goal that has changed history for Kenya and also for Harambee Stars. Thank you very much, those who are watching online. There are those who are saying that those were the longest 7 minutes of their life. Quite the anxiety there. Keep it coming. Give us your feedback. We're going to sample this in the course of this particular broadcast. Now, Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, John Badi, has defended government's plan to compensate families and victims affected by protests since 2017, describing the move as timely and in the best interest of the Kenyan people. Badi emphasized that the initiative is anchored on constitutional provisions, allowing the establishment of an emergency fund based on need.
Thank you so much.
Speaking during a church fundraiser at Manyara in Suna East, Badi said the program reflects the government's commitment to reconciliation, justice and healing for those affected by the unrest.
We must bring reconciliation in this country. And the president has said publicly and announced loudly that we are going to do a first one in 120 days. Compensation for people who have suffered. Then some people are criticizing that. What kind of a person are you? You have not lost anybody.
The CS was accompanied by Migori Governor Ochilo Ayako, decried politicization of the plan, telling critics to instead embrace constructive engagements.
I will make sure that there is money available to compensate people who have lost their loved ones, people who have been maimed, people who have been hospitalized from 2017 to date. To date. So there is no question about it. The government has already decided. Please, if you have your money also to compensate people, take it to that Kenya National Human Rights Commission.
Member of Parliament's work must be exemplified by that member of Parliament's contribution in Parliament, not how eloquent or how angry you speak at funerals, not how eloquent or how angry you incite people.
Sentiments echoed in Busia by National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, who urged politicians to forego their personal interests for the sake of peace and stability.
We should never take our peace and security and stability for granted. Kwa sababu bila amani, angalia nchi zetu jirani, Somalia, Sudan ndio hiyo inaenda, South Sudan, tangu ipate uhuru, hawajui amani ni nini. Ona vile inafanyika huko Middle East.
Na sisi maombi yetu ni ya kwamba sasa tuko namba 3. Sasa hatutaki kurudi nyuma. Na tukisema hatutaki kurudi nyuma, inamaanisha lazima kura zetu tuweke pamoja.
And a group calling itself Nairobi Mulembe Summit has embarked on mobilizing Luhya votes in Nairobi County to secure at least 7 parliamentary seats in the next elections.
Already we are around 780,000 voters Nairobi. Tunataka tuongeza another 350,000. We want to be 1 million plus.
Kila mtu aweze kuelewa sababu ya sisi kuwa hapa. Number 1, to consolidate the Luhya vote in Nairobi to have a meaning.
Sisi Waluhya tunajua we have numbers. Na numbers ni Waluhya. We can change Nairobi and we can change the whole nation.
Principal Secretary, National Treasury and Economic Planning, Chris Kipto, has reiterated that Selu Limited, in partnership with the National Irrigation Authority, have begun works at the Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme. The 20,000-acre piece of land leased to the company is a public-private partnership engagement meant to relieve the government's financial constraints.
At the Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme, the maize plantations are thriving. Principal Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Chris Kipto, accompanied by the irrigation counterpart, Ephantas Kimotho, and national officials toured the plantations to assess the progress at the 20,000-acre piece of land that Selu Limited is working on following the public-private partnership engagement.
This will cost them about 12.5 billion shillings, the total cost of the project. And this is a PPP project that is for 30 years. And it's a good example of how to deal with the current situation where we are having diminishing fiscal space, where we cannot finance projects through budget, given that we have other obligations to finance education, to finance health, and to meet other debt obligations which are now have increased.
Kipto noted that the partnership will go a long way in enhancing food production in the country.
The estimate is that if you put all these 20,000 acres under maize, every year they will be producing 70 bags per acre, which translates to about 1.4 million bags per year. And if you sell at the current exchange rate, at the current market price of 4,000, that translates to 5.6 billion shillings per year.
According to Kimotho, the multi-agency team undertaking the project in Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme are working around the clock to attract more investors. Building a road infrastructure, including a bridge and a power plant, is being done by a Korean firm through Selu Limited.
There is a bridge that is being supported by Kera, and the bridge is actually ongoing very well. So we are very hopeful that by next year, June, that bridge should be complete, and but the pumping is being done using diesel. But very soon, in the next 2 months, the private party Selu has also contracted Korean Solar, who are supposed to be putting at least 2.5 megawatts of power which will be helping in generation of power to help in doing the irrigation.
At the same time, Kiptoo disclosed that a 5 billion shillings water project is expected to commence soon. From Galana Kulalu, I am Ann Mburu.
Now, roads are more than just passageways. They are the lifeline that opens up isolated communities, supports socio-economic activity, and enhances access to essential services. In many parts of rural Kenya, poor infrastructure has long stood between the potential and progress. But in parts of Homa Bay County, that gap is finally narrowing. The Mbita-Sindo-Kiabuya Sori Road, once riddled with delays, is now taking shape. And for many residents, this transformation is long overdue. Our reporter Nduta Mukami was in Homa Bay and filed the following report.
In the heart of Homa Bay County, Kiabuya Sori Road weaves across communities like an African basket, laying bare the expansive county. To many, this is their only interaction with modernization, only lifeline. For many years, this was not the case. It was a bumpy, muddy, and dusty earth road that was the only connection to big cities and towns. To like health and education, a date with the Mbita-Sindo-Sori-Kiabuya Road was a must. Despite years of the plea, the state. During the dry season, clouds of dust engulf homes and vehicles. When it rains, the road is impassable, cutting off access to schools. Locals say the economic cost is high as transporters avoid the area, businesses lose customers, and small-scale farmers incur post-harvest losses because they can't reach buyers on time.
Shida yenye iko ni shida ya barabara. Barabara ndio inatusumbua. Mimi kama mfanyabiashara wa samaki, saa zingine tunavua samaki, tunachukua samaki kutoka kwa wavuvi, na mvua ikinyesha inakuwa shida kwa gari kupita iende mpaka ifike mahali penye kuna barabara ya lami iko.
But the new situation is changing for the better thanks to the 74-kilometer Mbita-Sindo-Kiabuya Sori Road to bitumen standard. The road is currently under active construction all the way to Sori, and residents are ecstatic. Government documents show the project is estimated to cost approximately 2.9 billion and released in phases of 7.4 kilometers each, aimed at ensuring both accountability and quality control. Once complete, the improved transport corridor will aid in opening up trade. From faster delivery of fish to easier access to healthcare and schools, the road will help communities bridge long-standing gaps in connectivity.
The moment you have a road improved, there is improved connectivity. So locals would also, move with their fresh produce or other products to the market without delay.
Tunajua hii barabara ikikuja ifike Mbita, gari inaweza ikatoka hapa vizuri ifike Mbita, tutakuwa na faida kubwa sisi kama wavuvi wa sehemu za Sindo.
As the final kilometers take shape, leaders and locals alike remain optimistic that the road will mark a new chapter, one of dignity and lasting inclusion. The locals are hoping that finally, the tales of the sorry state of Sori Road will eventually be erased by a new smooth Sori thoroughfare. Amenities such as roads must be given the priority they deserve in order to offer an overall economic development for the locals that reside within the areas. And as for the people of Mbita, Sindo and Kiabuya, the construction offers a glimpse of hope into what their future generations can benefit from. Reporting from the county of Homa Bay for KBC Channel 1, my name is Nduta Mukami.
I'm tempted to try and rhyme, see sorry bus, Anyway, that's on a very light note. Now, the Digital 2024 report indicates that Kenyans spent an average of 3 hours, 43 minutes daily on social media. It is for this reason that tech-savvy traders are abandoning traditional marketing methods and chasing after customers online with curative content to market their products and clinch the sales. 28-year-old Newton Maingi is one such entrepreneur in a thrift business who has exploited social media platforms to increase the sales of his second-hand clothes and earn a living from it. Faith Kambi reports.
Newton's thrift journey began in 2017 while still in college, where he sold hoodies as a side hustle while pursuing advanced certificate and diploma in procurement and supply.
I was selling hoodies to keep up my life at college, to be able to cater for my needs other than the school fees, because my mom would do the school fees and then upkeep I would just do thrifting.
After struggling to secure a job in his field, he turned to business full-time to make ends meet.
It has been a journey of challenges, growth, learning.
He started out on the streets of Nairobi, but the frequent cat and mouse games with the council askaris took a toll on his business. This, coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic, pushed him to take his business online in 2020.
Purely online was working because I used to make some good margin, and also the cost was a bit low because I would just pay 2,000 for pickup station, and that's all.
In September 2022, he opened a physical shop to support his growing online presence.
You can get let's say 20 clients a day asking for an item, but when you tell them that you don't have a shop, then they tell you, okay, I don't trust online businesses. I decided to open a shop as the business grew.
With more Kenyans embracing social media, Newton went big online, endearing his thrift with Main brand to 31,000 followers on Instagram, 20,000 on Facebook, and over 6,000 on TikTok, building a lasting relationship with them.
When you get to online space, the biggest challenges the genuine business face is the people who scam other online buyers, but we have genuine businesses out here which can which actually delivers.
At the famous Gikomba market is where he sources his clothes, but here too he brags over cherry-picking skill that helps him select quality outfits.
Before then, the last 2 years, I used to be there at 5 a.m. You start drifting one-on-one, you getting that stock.
He then cleans, irons, and packages them before uploading well-curated content online.
Instagram, Facebook, and recently TikTok has helped me on getting to reach my target audience. Yeah. And then also with online, you get to sell to customers outside Nairobi. You can get someone who is in Kisumu, in Eldoret, in Nakuru, in Mombasa.
We have a lot of work, but I do it alone. Regarding how I organize myself to do this, I attend to the customers, I write the packages, I send the packages to, just because he taught me how to organize myself.
The polished process has earned him loyal clients and glowing reviews from his customers.
Experience yangu imekuwa poa, and then the clothes are worth it at affordable price bado, and then na prefer kuja na order online kwanza, then nakujia nguo kwa shop kwa sababu ni easy.
The upcoming generation, most of them are online. So if you don't transform your business and being agile enough to be online, then it will be difficult for you to reach the market out there.
The earnings from his growing clientele has enabled him diversify income through goat and poultry farming. And so, with every comment, share, or like on his social media platform, Newton has gained insight on how his brand is embraced by his clientele. In a harsh economy where every coin counts, thrifting has become more than just fashion. From selling hoodies by the roadside to running his own fashion store, Newton Maingi has proven that creativity and consistency can turn small beginnings to big dreams. Faith Kambi, Channel 1 News, Nairobi.
Indeed, everything now is online. And talking about online, we are seeing some of your feedback on our various platforms. And one person there is actually, shaking it up on the comment section, saying that hii team inakaa kupiga Manchester United vibaya sana wakiwa 10 hivyo hivyo. What's your take? Keep your feedback coming. We take a quick break and we'll be back.
It starts with little moments of courage. To stepping out into the new world with confidence. Taking leaps of faith. Spreading your wings and soaring to new heights. Your mother's love is with you wherever you go. Stay soft. Nothing lasts like mom's love.
Harambee Stars, bwana, mimi naombea ushindi sana. Mimi nina imani kwamba wamejipanga, na kwa sababu wamejipanga, basi Kenya itakuwa kidedea, na mbali na kuwa kidedea, Kenya itazidi kuwika.
We should support our boys. We will win this tournament. Vamos.
Kenya's first tintable waterproof in paint.
Abdurrahman Sa. Punch is clear, gives away the corner.
Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
Hesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani, uzuri David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Welcome back. Now, those already online, we have Rob and Jaip who say they love KBC. We love you too. Continue watching our programs, especially now that we have Chan there. And also we have a reaction on social media in regard to the performance at the Kasarani Stadium. And someone is saying the fans in the stadium were incredible. Now, just to also do a follow-up is that we've also seen a report where Benny McCarthy, who is a Harambee Stars coach, saying, thanking Kenyans who showed up at the Kasarani Stadium. And he goes further to say that if we did not have the performance of the fans, I don't think we would have survived. That is Benny McCarthy. What's your feedback in regard to the game as well as this particular broadcast? Keep them coming. Now, to many, it begins with what it seems like a harmless coin placed on a gambling platform. But over time, the consequences can be severe. Tonight, our reporter Boniface Kasiva takes us through the chilling journey of two recovering betting addicts, one of whom has developed an anti-gambling mobile website with the objective of helping others break free from gambling addiction.
They lie to you that these things work.
Stake a bet, you envision a Subaru. I never bought that Subaru, by the way.
Cashing in business, in and out, but in my pockets I don't have, because I don't have anything.
Gambling, to some, may look as an easy way of making money by placing a single bet on a game or an evening out at the casino. But for some, the thrill becomes a trap that costs more than money. We meet with Brian Degwa, a 26-year-old software engineer who describes himself as a recovered betting addict. Brian explains how he first placed a bet while in high school, a habit that turned quickly to obsession.
I have to sneak the phone to school and make sure I analyze the games. Every time in the library, I am the first with the newspaper. I take the SportPesa leaflet. And then I analyzed the games. I even analyzed the jackpots. So it was a very toxic behavior.
Meanwhile, Charles Wanjohi found himself drawn into glamorous casinos in 2023 after being introduced by a friend. For Charles, the addiction led to heavier losses that he could never have imagined.
I remember I sacrificed the school fees for my son and ended up gambling it. So when my son was almost like just out of school because of lack of school fees, I remember that day I asked myself, I had that amount like 2 days ago, I could have just paid.
That was not enough.
I started realizing there's money coming in, but most of the time I don't have money. Trying to trace back, I'm seeing my M-Pesa statement running well, and my client have already paid me. But eventually I find myself in a debt issue, and every time the business that I'm doing is a profitable business.
As for Brian, who constantly whiled away time analyzing games, his turning point finally happened.
The guy who introduced me to the gambling world. While I was knowing him in 2015, he was driving a very big machine. He was driving a Toyota Harrier. By this point, he was driving a Mac-X. And I had seen him deteriorate casually, and he had also started slipping into alcoholism. When I saw the emotional turmoil that gambling is putting me through, and then I looked at the pastor, and so now he has even sold the Mac-X. From the Harrier to Mac-X, now he has sold it. Now he's hiring cars at 1,000 bob per day. And eventually he even sold his church, and now he became a full-blown alcoholic. So that's when I actually saw I'm never going to make it through gambling.
Then there is Charles, whose life took a sharp turn when he realized that every bet he placed was dimming the light of his own future.
I had done some, supplies of solar solutions, and I got a good check, around 800,000 thereabout. And the check cleared around 12 a.m. So the check has cleared. I can access it through my app. I started with 10,000. I put it in the gambling site, gone. I said, why don't I put 20? Ended up losing around 320,000. That was the turn around.
Dr. Alfred Gitonga, a consultant psychiatrist at the Manyara National Teaching and Referral Hospital, explains how gambling addictions evolves.
When it comes to gambling, at the inception of it, people begin to gamble for fun. Some are influenced by their peers, and there's also an adrenaline rush that they get from participating in the activity. But that is the trap. In the beginning, you feel like you have the illusion of control. But as time goes by, the gambling takes over your life and then funnels you into a system of desperation. And then when the losses become too much, then mental health problems assume, financial problems assume.
He urges victims to seek early intervention.
So everybody needs to face themselves and be honest about exactly what they are going through and how it is affecting them. And once somebody has accepted and they are honest about their gambling participation, then it becomes very easy to treat them.
Brian has gone beyond this professional advice by developing a Haminaki with the aim of helping those stuck in the quagmire of gambling. But how does it work?
It's an AI-powered platform that encompasses different mental health conditions. And then it has a specific focus on gambling. You can do it to guide you with other addictions, but there is a specific focus on gambling.
You can get onto a Haminaki and it is going to help you sort out your gambling issue. We have games there. We have like the simulation of the aviator game, where we give you virtual money so that you don't lose any money, but you still get the same dopamine thrill that you're getting from participating in gambling.
With betting shops, casinos and mobile apps only a distance away, gambling may look harmless at first glance, but for many it's a silent addiction with devastating consequences. Yet stories like Charles's and Brian's are a true testimony that help exist and recovery is possible. Boniface Kasiva for KBC Channel 1, Nairobi.
Well, in Kasiva. Now, increasing fatalities from road accidents in recent days in different parts of the country have prompted fresh calls for caution among motorists to save lives. Details of this and other stories in our county news roundup.
Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana has urged Kenyans to pray for the nation and called for a stricter road safety guidelines to curb accidents.
Hasa wakati huu ambao tuko likizo, watoto wako nyumbani, tunataka kutoa mwito wachunge sana huku barabarani, kwa sababu hatutaki kupoteza watoto wetu.
Elsewhere, men in Buri East, Meru County, have united in an initiative to rescue the boy child from the grip of alcoholism and drug abuse. In a rare intergenerational meeting at Ontiriri Boys High School, elders, youth, and local leaders joined forces to mentor boys on values, responsibility, and speaking out in a bid to restore their role in the family and society.
Hatutaki kuachia nchi yetu au akina mama, na tuseme akina mama ni wabaya, ni wazuri kwa sababu ni wake wetu, lakini wasee lazima tuchukue jukumu letu. Biblia inasema mzee ndio ubariki boma, mama ndiye anapokea. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni kitu muhimu sana.
And a section of internally displaced persons from Nyanza region is urging President William Ruto to also consider compensating them as he has done for victims of the recent public protests.
Tunapofanya ridhaa, tufanye ridhaa kwa watu wote, waadhiriwa wote. Tusitenge ya kuwa hawa ni watu 2017 na kuanzia 2007 kukuja wote wafanye ridhaa. Na kwa sababu kamati sasa iko, sisi wote tuwe mbele ya kamati na tujieleze, tuseme, tuweke kila kitu bayana na watu wote wapate ridhaa.
Finally, 3 people have been arrested in Malinya, Ikolomani Sub-County, Kakamega County, during a joint operation conducted by the police and officers from the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA. Equipment used in the production of illicit brew, including drums, cooking pots, and 400 kilograms of sugar, was also confiscated.
Manufacturing had been conducted around midnight, and the changa produced had been transported over the night. So it was unfortunate, but we are on the radar to ensure we'll have to net the activities.
certificate and diploma level. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
To sports now, a record 62 clubs from across the African continent will feature in this season's preliminary and secondary Prem rounds of the CAF Championship League campaign following a draw held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The record title winners Al Ahly. Now, this Desert Venom women team were crowned the regional champions of the Football Kenya Federation, FKF. Now Nairobi West, after beating NYS 2-0 in their playoff final match that was played at the NCC grounds in Nairobi. Meanwhile, Macmillan Queens were crowned Nairobi County champions after showcasing a splendid performance, thrashing Nairobi United Inspectorate by 3-1. In the men's match, Big Hawks carried the day and clinched the Nairobi County title after claiming a 3-1 win over Kings FA. Meanwhile, FKF have been urged to enhance security during matches after the match pitting Escalators and RSVSA was disrupted by fans as the team settled for a barren draw, forcing the match into penalties. FKF Nairobi West branch will make further announcements in regards to the match.
Zone A and B, again, washindi wote hawa. Nani anakuwa na pasi wakati mmoja akataka beki mstaarabu wa timu hii Macmillan Queens.
Zoni yetu imekuwa poa sana kwa sababu wasichana wameweza kushinda game zao zote na tumeweza kuwa position moja kutoka kwa county level.
We had a fantastic season. Tume top table from day one mpaka tumemaliza vizuri.
We've been able to also get a few partners that you can see who are ready and willing to work with us, and we also hope that moving forward we'll get more partners coming on board so that it can also help in sustainability.
Congratulations to the respective teams. Now, the Kenya Taekwondo Federation has unveiled the national team ahead of the forthcoming Cadets and Junior Championship in Abuja, Nigeria, slated for the 16th to 18th of this month. The selection was conducted at the Kenyatta University with the exportants picked beaming with confidence ahead of the international assignments. Zidane Dalinas took the first place with the junior boys at 63 kg category, while his club mates Kevin Gala, Duncan Suma and Clarice Pendo also secured their top finishes. In the junior boys 59 kg division, Festus Tuti of Kawangware emerged victorious, while Mohamed Karamage from Miritini took gold in the junior 68 kg class. In the girls 59 kg category, Wendy Trina finished first, while Eldoret's Mary Wanjiko secured the gold in the junior girls 55 kg. The selected athletes are expected to head into camp in readiness for the championships. So before we bring a Sunday Express to a close, let me just sample some of your views. We have been streaming on our YouTube channel, and a lot of love there has been shared for the channel there. Continue watching. We'll continue televising these particular matches, and you're encouraged to also, buy a ticket there and show up live and watch the matches live. Though some comments here indicate that these are disquiet. It indicates that maybe the match between Kenya and Zambia, the tickets appeared to have been sold out, but we will confirm that tomorrow being Monday. We speak All Matters Sports on Sports Check there, so you'll get a clarification in regard to the status of the availability of the tickets, where Kenya now that we have inched closer to the quarterfinals after that particular remarkable performance by Harambee Stars, for the very first time beating Morocco on our land, scoring the solitary goal for that particular match. That was scored in the 42nd minute by Ryan Ogan. Keep your comments coming as we continue the rest of the broadcast, and as we bring this session to a close, we want to leave in the capable hands of my colleague, that is John Jacob Kuria, as he takes through Jaoko Oburu Odinga, who is the presidential advisor on matters economic opportunities and sustainable livelihoods. A lot of questions have been asked in regard to where the country is going in matters economy. Now, the president's economic playbook. Let's hear what is in store. I'm Regina Manyara. My colleague on sign language is none other than Byron Abule. Well, in Harambee Stars. Now let's listen to matters economy and finance as per the presidential advisor in regard to this matter. Over to you, Kuria.
So we are engaging Jaoko Oburu Odinga, who is a special advisor in the Executive Office of the President, dealing with economic empowerment and sustainable livelihoods, and joins us on set really to speak about the whole agenda and, of course, what his role in the administration is. Thank you, Jaoko, for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much.
Karibu sana. Probably you can start with telling us the role of the very office that you occupy, that of Special Advisor on Economic Empowerment and Livelihoods.
Oh, thank you. I'm very happy to be here, and that question is as broad-based as our government. Because, I came in, I was appointed as an advisor in this broad-based government that we have now, the handshake between His Excellency the President and His Excellency the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. So now my role as a member of this government is to, as you read that card, basically look at how to create sustainable livelihoods, especially for the marginalized. So what I've done is that, given that we as a government now are looking at the better bottoms-up economic transformation agenda and 5 pillars, I've reached out to experts. Some of them are my friends, and because as an advisor, I'm just appointed alone. And since I was appointed alone, in, as I said, the broad-based government, you can imagine that the people who had been feeling sidelined or not included in the government system came rushing at me, an experience that I think most of our people who have been appointed in this government now under the broad-based agreement will tell you is real. So my office, which is actually in KICC, has been flooded by a lot of goodwill. A lot of goodwill with ideas, mainly very good ideas, and Kenyans are very creative, by the way. In fact, I even have something in my pocket right now. I wanted to share it today. It is from a pencil. This is the end of a pencil that normally would be the rubber. Now in here is a seed. Now a Kenyan has taken first paper and recycled it, used it to make the
Hold it from so that the
pen.
camera is able to zoom into.
Now, this is paper, and then the rubber. This is a biodegradable end. There are seeds in here for a tree. So once the child in the school sharpens the pencil and reaches here, they plant this in the ground and they adopt this tree. This immediately goes to help us in our 15 billion target of trees.
Listening to you, because you've mentioned the Nyota and Hustler Fund, all of them by the government for economic inclusion. And you're a catalyst, as you say. Your office is acting as a catalyst, and you also bring donors to the table to obviously meet some of the needs that are with these groups. Question is, has Hustler Fund, or for example, Nyota, failed in the objective of economic inclusion, so much so that we are now sourcing for financing to create more economic opportunities elsewhere?
Well, some of the challenges, the challenges are there. The funds are there because, you know, if you look at even the Women Fund, Youth Fund, those funds have been there for a while. These are other ones that also just have come in, and we realize that we are bringing funds, and sometimes that person who we're targeting the funds is lacking capacity to use the fund and pay it back. So one of the things that Nyota Fund is addressing is saying, look, we want to train you first before you have access to, let's say, the 50,000 shillings for the individual. But then we've also identified a weakness there. We said, look, you know, in our country, one of the challenges we have is that when you give me money individually, and sometimes you tell me it's a grant that might not have to be paid back, I don't become a responsible citizen. I also have to take responsibility as a citizen. When given that money, what do I do with it? So we are looking at saying, look, as we train, we are also going to train people on how to cooperate, so that funds are grouped, so that I'm responsible for you, you're responsible for me. That way, the payment rate will be better, the rate of success will be better. These things, like any other fund, will have a challenge. Like any other initiative somewhere, must have a challenge. And now, when by actual implementation, we see where the challenges are, and we actively run to see how to bring it together. Now, us as an advisory, you can see that one is one of our key areas. Even when we were talking today, we went there, the number one agenda was how to unlock that. Because we do not agree that the Hustler Fund and the Nyota Fund, any other fund cannot work. It can work. We actually this was 2011, 2012, there's a team we worked together then, and that it was, the motive came from politics, but it was there. We identified this inability to access Women Fund, Youth Fund, especially in the Western region. So we went to the ministry, and we worked with them from the application, helping that person apply, which they applied at the grassroots, to making sure that the PS or the minister delivered the check. Because sometimes you go there, somebody says, I applied and it never came. The check is sitting in the ministry. They don't know, and no one has told, they're not told, and vice versa, they've never checked. So from that experience, I am very optimistic. From what we can do, our part, we will be able to bring many more Kenyans to the table where they can actually benefit from what is being offered by the government. Because we're finding that government, what the government has is not known enough to the people. And that also brings a lot of
and I'm glad you've said you have had a conversation with Minister Oparanya, because yesterday, and of course there's also a response from the ministry in terms of one of the demands yesterday issued by the Kenya Human Rights Commission was the abolishment of Hustler Fund. They call it the betrayal of hustlers. Yes. From where you sit, is that a welcome conversation? Is it a conversation probably your office can have with the KHRC, probably to also bring an understanding of how beneficial probably the fund is to the normal hustler, as they're being called? Yes.
we must have that conversation with them. We must. I'll give you an example. We know very well, and it's a conversation we even had with Waziri Paranya at another function when we're working with KEPSA. That's the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. Private sector, we've identified as a major partner in anything that we're doing, because again, government is not a good business entity. We are enablers. We create a conducive environment, okay, for business. So you'll find KEPSA, the Chamber of Commerce as part of the teams that we are engaging as we go along. Now, when we say that you abolish that hustler fund, yet I'm telling you, somebody might look at 100 shillings as nothing, 200 bob. That guy at the construction site goes there, he doesn't have fare to go, he goes and borrows the 100 or 200, is enough for lunch and is enough for his fare to and from work. That is all he has. At the end of the week, he repays it. And like that. There's enough people who are actually making that thing work for them. So that we should now look at how to intervene on those who it has not worked so well for. And see how we can make sure that we all become owners of, because it's our funds, by the way, it's our funds. It's not a government fund. It's money that comes from you, myself, and everybody else in this country. So that ownership, that patriotism, slowly as we look at it and become responsible, also me, I should, while I'm pointing at somebody else for corruption, let me also be responsible for myself, just a little bit that I have. Let me be responsible for that. Then before pointing, because this fingers, by the way, when I pointed, too many are pointing back at me. Yes.
You have an experience yourself on resource mobilization, of course, from your stint as the CEC in Siaya, and you've also been involved particularly in mobilizing resources, even for political campaigns. How are you leveraging on that experience to ensure that in this docket that you're in, there's enough money raised for the causes that you're advancing?
Thank you, Jacob. That is a good one. I'm from the Odinga family, first of all. There's a time when being Odinga was taboo. Now, these days, you can sit there here and say, Jaoko Odinga, and the door maybe opens. There's a time at Jaoko Odinga, people ran away. And even, I remember when I started in Siaya County in 2014 as investment and resource mobilization advisor. And, I could not visit the county commissioner because that time, it was before the handshake of President Uhuru Kenyatta, the Prime Minister. I'm telling you, they were the county commissioner, national government, and we were the county. And that was that. But what being in that family taught me during those days, because we did not have any access to any advantage at all from government, government would not work with us, period. The only place you could go and find an opportunity was going to the private sector. So you had to think outside the box. You learn how to create something from nothing. We were, even in the political space, you had to be creative because you were operating with no money. Our supporters would just support because it's a cause and not because you've even offered a bottle of water to a meeting, These days, maybe somebody can say, hey, Ada Maji, I'm a fair. See, but we learned how to operate outside the box. So it gave me a huge advantage when I was the first investment and resource mobilization advisor in the county governments in Kenya, period. There's no one else. No one thought it meant anything anyway. But then, because of my experience out here, I was able to take that docket. And whether there was per diem, no per diem, and etc., I networked everywhere. And I remember one of my favorite guys who always used to like Governor Anyang. Whenever he meets me, he says, "What is that title of yours again?" He was senator then. He immediately became governor. He had to create that position. Even the fish farming that is happening in the lake now, that we brought that on board that time, and I found it when bureaucracy was killing it. This German consultant had done a very beautiful plan with GIZ. And now he was trying to implement it. But you hear the kind of bureaucratic things that he's not even reached the governor yet. Telling him the way he wrote the letter, you're supposed to write it first to Jacob, then he marks it down to us. You can't just come with a letter to us. You know, there was a lot of stories. So, but because of my private sector, you know, I went there with a private sector approach. I'd never worked in government. So I had little respect for protocol. So, you know, like I didn't know how to, leave alone little respect for it. They're serious professionals. Like our chair, Dr. Kiprono, Paul Kiprono is a serious expert in his field. He has worked in economic empowerment and inclusivity across the country for decades. We have our CEO, Joy Ruyungi. She was a pioneer CEC for sports in Meru during Governor Munya's time. I mean, we have very serious professionals on board, and we're all thinking outside the box. We didn't come here that there's a budget that we're going to operate with. No, we're making the budget. We're even creating jobs. And yes, as we're sitting there, we're looking, okay, how do we create even jobs for Kenyans, for youth? You know, even I mentioned you the Black Soldier Fly. Those are all jobs.
It's quite a magnificent plan you got. Listening to you, and of course the team you have assembled together to help you, and the kind of synergy you have with cabinet secretaries. How do you seal this arrangement from political interference? Because I mean, one would argue, probably, your office can also be linked to politics. But how do you seal the gains probably that you will make from political interference?
One, remember we talked about Siaya County. I told you I learned where the space where I can operate. And then one of the good things, I was working with the governor, Cornel Rasanga. A seasoned bureaucrat, by the way, is a good teacher. I realized something, that government, unless you put something on paper, it is politics. Yes. Politics only sweeps things that are in the air. When you take something and you write on paper to a government person, they have to respond. They have to take action. There has to be some action. Something has to be marked there. So this is what we are doing, our office, right from the beginning. We talk about when we visited Governor Oparanya, it was from a request for courtesy call letter, which is marked to all, including my boss. Okay? When we leave from there, we again write back, highlight everything that we've discussed. We requested to there having a working team. And then one of the things I just told you, NCIC today, we signed an MOU, okay? And we're moving through the formal process of government. I know how bureaucracy works, and I'm using that advantage to make sure that our things are anchored in systems, because systems are not vulnerable to politics, the way just words are. See, once you anchor in system and you create systems, even in our own setup, see, we've taken our programs, for example, you know, here I'm the advisory, right? But now, these programs that I'm talking to you about are housed in a program that is running them, called Elevate Kenya. Now, Elevate Kenya has the chairman, the CEO, everything. Huh? So we are on a highway, moving anchored under the office of the president, so that we do not let any gains. And remember, the ministries own the other things that we're doing. So even if you fight Jaoko, that thing is gone from my hands. The time when this pencil, we did a proof of concept the other day in Ruiru here. In 3 weeks, we're going to go back, and we're going to invite you now. You come and see the grown pencil, and this, you see, achieves the two things. One, our forest cover for 15 billion trees, and two, that child who is adopting this tree. You can imagine the kind of citizen we are creating there. We are thinking like that. How do we change the minds of that future citizen so that they protect our environment and they restore where they can? We want that citizen to think, see, this is recycled paper from here. Before we even start making sure we make this paper here, how do you then take it and instead of it being damage to the environment, you turn it into this? See, like that. That is a kind of citizen who we are cultivating integrity. Okay, I think, as far as from Jaramogi to me, I'd like to find someone who can go and go to Siaya, go wherever been. You know, we are open like a book, genuine. I guess that's what sometimes brings love from.
And thank you for mentioning Mzee Jaramogi, because one of the most interesting questions I wanted to ask you as we wind up: how do you balance between being an Odinga and a government official now advising the president?
Let me tell you something interesting. Yeah. When I was growing up, I remember Jaramogi. Sometimes, I think when I was born, the man was under house arrest. And late, as the time also went, in the 70s, he went through his things. In the 80s, he went through his things. Picked even with pajamas one time, put in jail, you know, all kinds of harassment. Yeah. And I was one of his favorite grandchildren there. But let the national anthem play, and you're sitting down. You shall know what it means to be a Kenyan. Because Jaramogi, despite all those things with the government, push and pull and all that, he understood very well, which I didn't understand until later, that what we only have one thing here, which we must protect. That is the nation, and the nation of Kenya. So, as even when coming to this broad base, we didn't come because of A, B, C, D, E. We came because of Kenya. We wanted Kenya to stay united. You can imagine that it kind of, you know, wherever you're sitting, yourself, myself, and everybody else around, we all owe a responsibility to this country. Because you can imagine, before it was imagined we'd be born, there were people who died. Their blood was spilled for this land of ours here. They did all kinds of things just to remove the colonial yoke and have an independent Kenya. And then every generation has its milestone. We talk about the first liberation. We talk about the second liberation. We talk about the third liberation. For us now, we're talking about economic liberation. We're talking about economic emancipation. This is it now. So, being a Rudnika has nothing to do with anything. I'm just another patriotic Kenyan who wants to do the best for this country. Because we have something. You know, if you look around, and I've been around some other countries in my little time. And when you look at Kenya, after you step out, sometimes I always wish we could just take everybody, drop them in the neighborhood, you don't have to go far, Uganda, chip, back. Or Tanzania, chip, back. Or now, even better, is Somalia. So they can see, when you say, let's, Ruto must go. And he asked, how do you want me to go? Because we have a constitution. We have rules. We even Baba, despite all the grievances, they always come back and say, look, the next election is another year. We must protect what is Kenya. We must. This is not a choice because we owe it to the past generations and to the future. We are only enjoying what we have now, even this freedom now, because of the sacrifices that those before us made. So why would we be selfish to say that let's destroy everything and say, you know, we don't live in a vacuum. Some countries will be so happy to see Kenya down in the being Somalia or you know, gun-riddled buildings. Then it means whatever the UN will move next door. You know, right now the UN is scrambling to live in Kenya, despite what somebody might say, oh, Kenya is so bad. Why are the international communities rushing to set up base here? Because they're Kenyan. And when you go out to Tanzania, they fear us. Because the intellect, your intellect, Kenyan, is high. Your ambition, your desire to deliver, and your standard is not just an ordinary standard. So Kenyans we must appreciate ourselves and really, really join hands together and make this country greater than it is. Because you know, who do you know in this region who is greater than Kenya? Despite everything that we can accuse things that are happening, I point fingers here, you point, everybody else points, but we are still on top. Why would we go to the bottom? How would it make sense that let's fall down to the bottom first, so that now we can start building from scratch something that we are already on the 20th floor of a 30-story building. You understand? Huh? Yes. So that's what I just in the many words. But I am so grateful for this country. After I lived outside for 20 years, by the way. I lived with Rwandese. I saw Ethiopians. I saw Eritreans. I saw the Ugandans, all these Somalis, and I even I experienced 2 or 3 people, this was in Canada, commit suicide. Somebody has the full scholarship, everything you can give them, but the memory of the horrors, the one guy, the horrors they experienced in their country just to survive, to be there, is too much to live with. One guy is like, I survived, I was a student. International students were talking. Say, I only survived because my family fell on me. They hugged, they fell on me. Then I lay like I'm dead for 2-3 days. You can imagine. You know, when you say hallelujah, you thank God, you say, look, let's really, no matter what happens, it is not worth destroying a country, a nation.
All right. In less than a minute, this camera that is behind me, because Kenyans will obviously demand accountability from every leader that occupies a public office. What do you want Kenyans to hold you to account to? That is, say, by the time I'm finishing up my tenure as special advisor to the president, this is what I want to achieve. 2 things on that camera.
What I would say, I want Jaoko to be remembered as a breath of fresh air. In the sense, a window that opened and let the air in, and by giving Kenyans access to opportunities within the government. Because the government, I believe, in partnership with the private sector, which is the majority of the people. Because, you know, many of our people are even in Juakali. We, as a nation, we are more on an importation role. We trust what comes from outside more than from our own within. I want to be one of a catalyst that joins with other players, other Kenyans, to turn that around, so that I will not be wearing a shirt from Turkey or a suit from Italy. I'll be wearing something made in Kenya. We can sit and agree. You can see some of the countries that were locked in because of sanctions or whatever they had during between the West and the East and all this. They've been able to move very far, including even Iran and them, Russia, and etc. Different nations. Us as a country and as a continent, it won't hurt us at some point to bite the bullet. hata kama imeshonwa vibaya, it's not sewn so well, let me put it on because it's made by a Kenyan. The prosperity, and sustainability of income, so that everyone, every last one of us, is at least earning a dignified living. We have access to health, we have access to education, and that if I can be part of that kind of legacy, and we're doing cottage industries, like what I saw in India when I went there one time. A guy lives upstairs, a very narrow building. Down here, he's manufacturing. And you know, when they told me we're going to factory, I was expecting a factory, you know. But his factory is small, but it's exporting using the lathe machine. He has the small making bolts and nuts and all that to Mercedes in Germany. And is earning a very dignified living. This is what we are all about here. This is what I want to be remembered with in the short time that we have, because I'm not assuming that I'm going to just be reappointed again as an advisor. So it is between now and the term of the president in this first term. Up to there, my team and I will do our very level best to deliver that to Kenyans.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jauko, for joining us. Jauko Oburu Odinga is the Special Advisor, Economic Empowerment and Sustainable Livelihoods under the Executive Office of the President, joining us really to tell us about his new office. He's fairly new in the office. His new office indeed, and what they intend to do within this period. Thank you very much once again. Asante sana.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Asante.
We are real people who give real care. Visit www.definiteassurance.com or email info@definiteassurance.com for more information, or contact 0708-247-247 or 0788-247-247. Definite Assurance. You are definitely covered. J. Uko nao.
Burutia Yahya finding Edinado. Two diminutive men in this Tanzania side linking up. It's fallen kindly here for Clement Mzize, laying it off for Faisal Salum. Oh, wow, what a hit. But equal to it is the 39-year-old Toldo. He refused to be beaten against Mauritania. He made a few saves just as impressive as that. Didn't appear at the previous African Nations Championships for Madagascar as he was playing his football in Seychelles.
Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies